I believe there is also a short of this thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there was like a direct to DVD sequel, but I do remember that there was like another thing about this movie for some reason. But I'm gonna talk about the actual movie here. It's kind of fucking crazy cast. Jonan Hill is in this movie, probably one of his first roles. I believe Superbad came out a little bit after this movie, because this movie came out in 2008, and I think Superbad came out in 2009. Um, I think Wolf of Wall Street was like 2010. Yeah, a lot of. I think this was before people really knew who Jonan Hill was. He plays Tommy. From what I remember, I think he did a good job not sounding like Jonah Hill, because I had looked at the cast beforehand and I was like, wait, Jonah Hill's in this movie? And when I watched the movie and Tommy talks, I didn't really recognize him. With Horton, he sounds enough different, but at times you can very much tell it's Jim Carrey. Steve Carell, however, does not really try as the main character. He just sounds like Steve Carell. And also Horton's friend, who appears in like maybe 3 or 4 scenes. He doesn't have that big of a role in this only an hour and 20 something minute movie. Is played by fucking Seth Rogen. Um, this movie could be used as a metaphor for religion. I don't know what Dr. Seuss's attempt was when he made the book. It's been a long time since I've read the book as a kid. But I used to watch this movie as a kid too. A lot of books I had as a kid, I also watched the movie. And a lot of them I enjoyed. I don't think there was that many I didn't enjoy, besides Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters, which I had a lot of criticisms of because they took the fucking. I'll complain about it to this day. It's still a really fun movie, and I still think it's a pretty decent sequel. But they take like the hyped up villain that they took, books and upon books hyping up, and just put him in the second movie when he was in the fifth book, and they also are setting up the third book in universe. It's so weird. The first one had its flaws too, but we're not here to talk about Percy Jackson. We're here to talk about Horton Hears a Who, and yeah, it. I did not remember Horton's apparently like a teacher. He refers to himself as a teacher. He refers to the kids in the movie as his class. So he's a teacher of some sort. The parents approve at first. The kangaroo, not so much. Her son is portrayed as like not like her. Like he's more sweet and whatever. But I don't remember him being like that in the book. I think he was also a jerk in the book. I think that is a movie change. Um, Steve Carell's character, the mayor, that's what I'm going to refer to him as, because as of right now, I don't remember his character name. And they call him the mayor for the majority of the movie anyway. The mayor, he apparently has like 90 something kids. I know this is a kid's movie, but morally, I think that's pretty messed up. Logically, I'm gonna look over that. Like, obviously, it's a bit weird that his wife was able to have like 90 something kids. Maybe they adopted. They didn't say. Um, but yeah, fucking morally, to have 90 something kids, obviously you can't devote enough attention to all of them. It's literally something they point out in the movie, how he's only able to spend like 12 seconds with each kid. it's it's wild. I don't know why they added that. It's so weird to me that his one of his character traits is that he doesn't spend that much time with his kids because he has too many kids. Um, so let's talk about the plot. Horton, he's like in the bath or whatever. Obviously, not an actual bath. He's out in the water because it's a jungle. and he hears a small noise that says help. I don't know why it says help because they're not really in danger right now, but yeah, it says help. He hears it, and it's a tiny little speck. He's able to catch it. He accidentally sends it away when he lets out a breath of air, and he has to catch it again. Um, I'm surprised they didn't do that joke again because he does a lot of crazy things throughout this movie, but he never loses the speck again until a later point that's not really his fault. Which is just crazy to me. He accidentally let out a breath and there goes the speck. He had to catch it again, but that never happens again. He's stomping around and stuff and he doesn't lose it. I mean, he's careful at times, but wow. I can't believe he never lost it again. Um, the mayor ends up talking to Horton, finds out that, he's actually a speck. He's actually living on a speck. And it's a pretty terrifying conclusion, but since it's a kids' movie, they don't delve into that too much. But he decides to go tell the other people and says that they need to postpone this big celebration that apparently everybody loves. That is a common thing in kids' movies, I mean, it was even a thing in Jaws, that they didn't want to close the beach because, this is the year that we get the most customers. So he tries to tell him that. It doesn't go well. They put, this fucking glass thing over him. And, it's awesome. It's awesome. They, one of them is running around berating him. He's the only one that really talks. He's got a few other judges and people in the town, but they don't really have any lines. At least that I remember. I'm pretty sure they just stand there and smirk evilly. It's just the one guy that's always trying to start stuff with the mayor. There leads to an adult joke that I think is pretty funny, where he pulls out this piece of paper that has a donkey on it, and it shows its ass, not in a crude way, but yeah, and he points at it, clearly calling him a jackass, and it's a pretty funny thing. It was a bit cruel though that when he's leaving, they have this thing that keeps kicking him in the butt. He suffers a lot in this movie. Even though he's told his wife about the Horton thing, later when he's on the roof actually talking to Horton, he knows Horton's there. He doesn't invite her up on the roof to try and talk to him so that she would believe him. I don't know why. Later she just says quietly, and one of those moments where she's I believe you, and it's just kind of stupid. I don't know why she does. They didn't really spend that much time together, and she literally dismisses him when he originally tells her. She tells him, rightfully so. It would be a weird thing to tell you that someone, that you're actually living on a speck and an elephant is holding you. She dismisses him and she says he's under a lot of stress and stuff. But later she just believes him, I guess because he's passionate about it. I don't know why else she would believe him. I don't know why he didn't invite her up on the roof. In the climax, at least closer to the climax of the movie, he does try and get them to hear Horton, but unfortunately they can't because the speck gets taken away from Horton by a vulture that gets hired by the rabbit. Not the rabbit, the kangaroo. I don't know why I thought she was a rabbit for a second. There's also a gag with I feel just padding time where the mayor has to go to the doctor and have something done with his teeth, but Horton jumps around and the doctor accidentally stabs him in the arm, and then he just leaves. He never gets a new employment for his tooth or anything. There's a little gag with his son keeps staring at his, now like messed up arm, but he fixes it rather quickly. Um, Will Arnett plays the Vulture, and he does fine. I enjoyed his performance. He didn't have that much screen time. I remember him being a much bigger part of the movie, but I believe he appeared like 50 minutes in, maybe an hour in, and the kangaroo tries to hire him, but he stupidly wants her son. Like, that's the deal. He'll go kill this speck for her if she lets him have her son to eat. Obviously, she's gonna say no to that, you fucking freak. I don't know why he thought she would say yes to that. But I guess to like a blow to his ego, she wants to go hire the monkeys instead that we had seen earlier in the movie. But he says it's not a job for them because they're not even scary. Why would they have to be scary to go destroy a speck that they don't even believe actually has people on it? Like, the Vulture isn't really needed for this type of job. She could have just went to the monkeys in the first place. Like, he's treated like a hitman in this movie. But he's just going to go destroy a speck that nobody believes has people on it. So, why does he act like it has to be a scary person doing this job to destroy a speck? He's also unnecessarily cruel about it, which is pretty funny, where he like drops the flower that the speck is on into a field that is all of the same flowers. Eventually Horton finds it. Yeah, it's crazy to think that fucking Jim Carrey played Horton and the Grinch. Two complete opposites. And they're both Dr. Seuss characters. So yeah, the mayor tries to convince the town that that the thing is real. They laugh at him. They start flying fucking kites and shit because of the wind or something. It's really goofy. Just for a few minutes later for Horton to come back, at least in movie time. In actual time, it's probably been a long time since Horton had to search through that entire flower field. But in movie time, it's only been a few minutes, and now Horton's talking and they're all convinced and stuff. I feel like it's just too rushed. This movie should have been a little bit longer. But it is a kid's movie. At the end of the day, you can only keep a kid's attention for so long. But wow, it just feels a little bit rushed to me. So what happens next is, like I said, the Vulture drops the speck, finds it again. They talk for a little bit. Horton ends up getting cornered by the townsfolk because the kangaroo learns that the Vulture failed. So now everybody in the town, except for the kids, I don't believe I saw the kids. So I guess the parents just abandoned their kids to go terrorize Horton and his speck. They all try and fucking kill the speck. They have like a whole boiling pot and shit, and they're trying to put him in a cage, and it's fucking crazy. I can't believe this is the climax of a kids movie, is an elephant being restrained and people about to unknowingly commit genocide. It's crazy to me. The explanation of the movie, why they can't hear them, is because apparently they're going to say that elephants are able to hear better than all these other animals. I don't know how true that is because there's so many different animals in this movie. Kangaroos, monkeys, all different types. I'm sure one of them has better hearing than an elephant. But I'm not going to research, all these different animals to see if they have better hearing than an elephant in this, hour and 27-minute kids movie. But yeah, they start making a bunch of loud noises, playing drums, saying, "We are here, we are here, we are here." And it's not working. The narrator not so subtly says that they need like one more person. And the only person that isn't talking is the mayor's son, who every time we see him in the movie, he doesn't have a line of dialogue. He's a very quiet person. So he goes to this little abandoned place on the top of this mountain or whatever that he's goes to all the time. And he fucking he starts playing a bunch of music, and he ends up like talking too. And now they're finally able to hear. And they have a little gag that apparently that there's this like mouse that makes cookies that also I don't know how they make cookies, because they make it seem like these animals are somewhat advanced, but also not that advanced, because there's like a joke that happens twice in this movie about how they don't know what a bathroom is. But apparently they have like stoves and shit to make cookies. It's not like a lore breaking thing, but I think that's funny. And he gives like the kangaroo a cookie and everything's okay now, even though she was like unnecessarily angry at Horton. But the movie's resolved, everything's a-okay, and the movie ends. I do want to talk about one more thing, and that is the fact that the mayor goes to like this scientist lady, tells her his theory and says it's just a hypothetical. She later shows up and tells him he's right, and he never uses her, to help him. Like, she believes you, dude, and she's a scientist. She should be up there with you trying to convince the judges. But no, she's only got like 2 scenes in the movie, and one of them is her saying she believes him. But, like the big climax is his wife saying, who didn't have that big of a role in the movie, that she believes him when she was already dismissive of him. I don't really get that. I don't hate the wife character or anything. And that is not at all what I'm trying to get across if someone gets confused about that. I'm just saying that she doesn't believe him. Later she does. When there's a character that already believes him that just disappears for some reason. She's only in 2 scenes. One where he tells her what he thinks, and then another where she tells him, "Hey, I believe you. You were right. I don't know how you were right, but you're right." And she doesn't try and help him during his big speech against the judges to the townsfolk. Why didn't he try and help her? Why didn't he try and get her to help him? I don't get it. At the end of the day, it was an okay kids movie. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to, but I always try and be a little bit less harsh on movies that are kids movies.